Welcome back to the Scared Stiff podcast. This is your host, Mike, and this is my co host, Jason Voorhees, once again. How are you doing, my friend?
You're not my mom. I'll kill you, bitch.
It's time to talk about a good one.
Yeah, we're talking about Friday the 13th, Part 2 today.
This movie fucks, dude.
This is going to be the first full video for our series for Friday. We're going to cover, for full video, 2, 4, 6, and 7. Those are our favorites. We universally love those four. The ones we're going to do short videos for, not full lengths, but just kind of like highlights and lowlights, is 1, 3, 5, and 8.
Yeah, so basically we're going to make it so that we covered the entire Paramount 8.
Yeah, because we were going to watch them anyways. Might as well just do all of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably going to watch more. I'm probably going to watch past that, but
I watched
the
other ones literally within 3 months ago, 4 months ago.
Oh, I don't want to rewatch Jason Goes to Hell. I'm probably going to skip that because I watched it semi recently.
Yeah, I mean, you watched
I'll
it
go
a little after I did.
I watched it in Halloween, or like in Halloween time, because that's when I got the set. That's the first one I watched.
After I did. I watched it after you did.
Yeah, that's the first. That's why, because the set came and I was like, well, I've never seen Jason Goes to Hell. It's the only Jason film I haven't seen, so I'm just gonna watch that now.
Yeah, I saw that at a young age.
I said, fuck it, why not? And
but yeah, we're doing part 2
I'm
today.
sorry.
Part 2 is, would you say, your second favorite?
Yeah, it used to be my favorite. Rewatching this though, it reminded me why it used to be my second favorite. Well, why it used to be my favorite, and it's not my second favorite.
Part 2 is great. I mean, I have a tough time picking favorites with this franchise because I like 2, 4, 6, and 7 so much. Like, they're all very close to the top. And it'll rotate, like, in, like, a year, like, probably saying, I like this one more now. But I've always loved 2. I always thought 2 was the reason that people really like Friday. I always look at 2 as why I hate the bullshit misconceptions that the camp counselors are bad or they're just not good characters.
Yeah.
Like,
because in this, like, every single character is likable. I like them all, really, honestly.
yeah, I think all of the characters you get to know in this are really likable.
Yeah, all of them.
I also, this movie is so good for the fact that the people that did the first one shit on this movie a lot, and it fucking pisses me off. Like, they're like, oh, I hate the fact Jason is alive, and, like, you know, it kind of ruins the whole first movie. Like, hey, dude, get this. First one, fucking worse than this movie. I don't care if it ruins the first one, because the first one's not that great. It's like,
yeah.
Oh, well, fucking, it just doesn't make sense. Hey, dude, stop thinking too hard about it. If you want to make it make sense, just say as soon as Pamela dies, he gets reborn as a fucking demon. Who cares? I don't fucking care. Like, does it need to make total sense? Like, with the way this series evolves to be so fucking radically different, who really fucking cares?
It's a good time. That's all it is. This is just a fun, entertaining slasher movie.
Well, I don't understand why they're so dead set on, like, well, this kind of ruins it. Like, your fucking first movie isn't as
probably because most of them are only in one of them.
Yeah, it's just like
They probably got no residuals out of it.
You're ruining the sanctity of Friday. It's like, what fucking sanctity? You guys didn't do shit. Like,
let's call a spade a spade. That first movie isn't very good.
No, it's not.
There's no sanctity to ruin.
The camera work, the character work, the editing, the everything besides maybe the makeup effects are just genuinely better in this film than the first one.
Yes.
Everything.
Everything is more refined.
When I was watching the movie, there's a scene where Ginny runs away and the camera follows her and she slams the door, and I'm like, that is...
And it cuts right back around to the door.
That is...
inside. Awesome.
That one shot is way more effective than anything in the first movie.
Yes, I agree. It's way more...
maybe except for the end shot in the first movie.
The very end shot?
The
bubbles? Oh, the surprise, the shocker.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I mean, like unbiasedly, that ending is ridiculous for when it came out. So, I guess you could say that's
and
better.
they kind of repeat it here.
Yeah, it's worse here.
Oh, yeah, Hillbilly Jason. So it's kind of funny. I always talk about how much I like Sackhead Jason. I still do. Don't get me wrong. But man, did the hillbilly part just really rub me the wrong way this time. That's one of my least favorite parts. He looks stupid with the overalls and all that stuff. But I don't know, sometimes it looks really cool. Because, like, when he's in the bed and sits up that shit's scary, dude. That's
Because it
really
looks like he
intimidating.
has a pillow, on his head.
Yeah, he's gonna fuck you up too. Like he looks like he's about to rip you apart, and he sadly does kill that nice girl. We'll get to that though. So the basic idea of this movie is that Jason is coming back to take revenge for the death of his mother at the end of the first movie. Starting with Alice, and hey, you guys are on my lake. Fuck you. You're dead. This is essentially the idea. So it definitely does follow a similar template to the first movie. I would even argue because like they don't come out and say and show you on screen this is Jason Voorhees. We know it is because who the fuck else would it be? But they don't even come out and say that. It doesn't tell 3 where you're just like at the beginning you're like this is Jason. For 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, and on because 5 not. But it is kind of wild to watch this afterwards because it does really follow a lot of what the first movie does, but just does it better. We start with more likable characters, with more, discernible history with each other, and with better interactions with each other. They're not all super duper well fleshed out people, but there's enough going on between them so you can connect with them at least, and their performances are stronger. So when they're in peril, as they will be, it does become more distressing and the tension is much higher. One of the scenes in particular that really got me was is it Mark in the wheelchair?
Mark.
When he's sitting out on the deck looking for, oh man, why am I forgetting her name? Because I love her. Vicky. When he's sitting out there and it's just holding the camera on his back. It really is. That's actually a really good sequence because it's actually playing with your expectations of where Jason's going to come out, and they really get you. Also, one of the meanest kills in the entire franchise. Absolutely stone cold mean.
He's a bastard in this movie in general.
Yeah,
he kills people that they probably wouldn't do in later films.
They didn't deserve it at all. That's the thing, though. That's what makes it so much better, though. Is like these people don't deserve any of this.
No.
None of them. Arguably, the only people who maybe deserve it are the 2 couples in the bed because they went to Camp Crystal Lake, to the actual Camp Blood. But like they're still not being like. I'm not saying that they're stupid. I'm just saying like they did something that could potentially irritate Jason.
Yeah.
The rest of them are just there, man. Like they're not doing anything crazy, and they're not engaging in terrible things like some of the characters from later films possibly could have. It's really sad that they just die because they were just there.
I'd say.
It's fucked up.
It's funny too because in this movie there's one outlier compared to every other Friday is that the comedic relief character does survive.
Yes,
Ted doesn't.
And I actually really like this comedic character.
Yeah, I
actually really like this comedic character. He's actually really funny.
Yeah, he's also seems really nice too. He seems like a nice guy.
He's not a he's not a shithead.
Yeah.
Like
he's flirting with the bartender because he's drunk. Yeah, I think he likes me. Yeah.
He makes some terrible jokes, but they're endearing.
Yeah.
The whole bear shits in the woods kind of joke. I found that kind of I chuckled at that. That's a stupid joke. It's really stupid, but I find it funny. His delivery is really good.
Yeah, I genuinely just find everything in this film to be just leagues better. The characters are just so much more likable. When everybody dies, you should feel bad. And I've always hated the argument like, you have a bunch of stupid horny teenagers that go up and do drugs and have sex and just get up to a bunch of mischief and they kind of deserve to die. And it's like, I've always heard that, always for Friday.
Yeah.
First of all,
specifically Friday.
This isn't fucking Christian school. You shouldn't just die for having sex and doing drugs. This is stupid. I hate that argument. Yeah. Second of all, in this film, you aren't supposed to like Jason. You could argue later on in the series, well, you kind of want him to kill the people.
He becomes the mascot.
Yeah. Do you really want him to kill everybody though? Like you shouldn't want that to be the case. And in this film, you don't want anybody to die.
See, for this movie, you can root at the same time because obviously we come to a slasher movie for kills.
Yeah.
We want and other stuff, but we would like to see. Yeah, we're here to see people die essentially. So you can root for that while also being sad that the characters are dying.
Oh, for sure. They also put characters in there that die that you don't really care that much about, like the cop.
Yeah, no, yeah. But yeah, like they put like little teeny kills in there like that, but it still comes down to you still like the characters, and to me, it makes the kills better that you like the characters because it makes you more attached to it and maybe makes the kills more memorable than maybe they would have been.
I think,
Because like we both like Scott.
yeah,
We both like the character Scott. He's an asshole. Don't get me wrong, he's an asshole. But
he sucks your ass as a girl.
yes, they have their little thing going on between themselves where they are mean to each
She
other.
does seem more endeared to it, though. She seems
Yes,
more like
she seems interested in the guy and
Yeah.
she's playing along with it, at least in this one. But his death is a pretty simple death. Like he just gets his throat slit. That's it. That's all it is. But it works because you like the character. Like the character is fun to watch. So like yeah, he does that thing where he slingshots the girl's ass. That's fucked up. But
yeah.
they at least show that she turns back to the camera and smiles like she likes it or something.
She's not as mad about it as if
Yes.
like she could be.
It doesn't feel like it was something that was completely unfounded or
Yeah.
something that she didn't. I don't want to say she wanted it because
No, she didn't want it, but like it's more along the lines where it's like
She's
seems
interested in the
at
guy.
least somewhat interested in him versus like I fucking hate this guy. He's really
Yeah.
bothering me.
Yeah. So I don't know exactly how the context of that was supposed to be, but it at least seemed like there was
Yeah.
a mutual attraction.
And like when he takes her clothes when she's skinny dipping and she chases after him, like when he gets stuck hung upside down, she could really be a fucking bitch about it and be like, you're a fucking piece of shit. I really don't like you. And he'd be like, yeah, it's fair, man.
But
That's
she's still
fucked up what
flirting
he
with him.
did. But she goes like, I should let you hang, you pervert. But like she says it kind of like sweetly, where it's like she knows she's messing with
Playful
him.
way.
Yeah, and he knows it too. It's just like to them,
Yeah.
it seems more like a game than it's like really not okay. That's the
Yes,
way
I
I
agree.
always interpret it. You
Um,
can interpret it differently.
With him,
So when he dies,
it's
maybe
kinda
you
fun
like
'cause
it. I don't know.
yeah, it's also yeah. I mean, whatever. But he the thing that really endeared me to him earlier on in the movie was when he's
Dancing?
dancing with her dog.
Yeah,
That was really funny.
yeah.
It's again, like those kind of little interactions though, like him dancing with the dog, or Mark and Vicky, arm wrestling or playing hockey with each other.
Mark is easily
Mark's
the most endearing character.
I love Mark.
I love the
Poor guy.
It's a fucking minute conversation where she says to him like, Mark, like, why are you in a wheelchair? And he goes, like a bike accident. I was a motorcycle accident. And he goes, doctors think it's permanent. I don't. Like, I don't intend to spend the rest of my life in this wheelchair. And it's like, you hear that and you're like, fucking good for you, dude. Like, you're going to
Yeah.
prove them wrong.
It really
Unfortunately, Jason
Yes.
proves him wrong.
I was gonna say it really sucks because it's like I don't want to make a joke. It's not a joke, but it's like I'm not gonna spend the rest of my life in this wheelchair. He does.
Yeah, he
It
does.
sucks.
Unfortunately.
It really sucks for him.
But you really like that character. Even, like, there's the time when all the counselors are running away, or, like, they're jogging throughout the camp. And Mark says, like, oh, come on, Jeff. All the women are fucking getting past you. And Jeff slows down, turns around, and flips him off. Like, I just love that shit. It's so fun.
It's all endearing. It's all
They feel like
entertaining.
real people.
Yeah, they feel like they're real teenagers who are just having a good time. It makes it so much easier to watch, man. Because like in the first movie, like they're not all terrible. Like I don't like Ned. I don't like Ned. Yeah, Ned.
Yeah.
I don't like Ned. So anytime he's on screen, I want to pretty much put my fist through my face. But when it comes to all these characters, like when they're all interacting, that's some of the best stuff in the movie. Even more so than some of the kills, because some of the kills, like I said, like they're not particularly wildly inventive, but the characters are fun to watch. This is the definition to me of like 80s fun horror movie. Like it's entertaining. People die, sure, but it's there for pure entertainment value. This is a popcorn movie, and it's just entertaining as fuck.
Yeah.
And Ginny, we didn't even talk about Ginny. Ginny's an
Jenny's
awesome
the
final girl. She's an awesome final girl.
And she's with the other camp counselor who's in charge, Paul. Paul's a bit of a goof. He's like, he's the Fred.
Yeah, literally.
100%. Yeah.
Literally blonde hair.
He's likable too, though. Like,
he's awesome, dude.
You could hate Paul. Ginny fucks with him and like messes around with him all the time.
But that's the best part, like because they have a relationship. Obviously, they're together.
Yeah.
And their relationship, their relationship doesn't make her weaker.
No.
I just whacked my mic. Cool.
She makes him.
But
She seems smarter than him the entire film.
yeah, and even like he teases her about her whole child psychology. Fuck my Christ, my fucking Christ.
Did he do the child
He teases her about her child psychology degree at the beginning of the movie, which is really funny because that's the reason why she lives.
Yeah.
It's really funny. Like again, like that's a setup and payoff thing that works really well. Something that did not happen in the first movie very much. It's really like their relationship is really cool, and it doesn't make her a weaker character, which is what I really appreciate. Because a lot of the times in slasher movies, you'll see slasher final girls who are like, she can't have a man around her because the reason why she lives is because she's not focused on fucking or something like that. Like they can't be together. Like she can't have a boyfriend or something.
Also, you
it's like,
see
stupid.
Ginny and Paul have sex in the movie.
Yes,
which breaks
that's another
the
thing.
whole status quo of sex makes you die.
It immediately, because the first movie is like Alice can't fuck.
Yeah,
at least not in the movie, because who knows? Maybe she did with Christy before, which is gross. But taking that out of the equation, that movie sets up like the normal final girl idea, the Laurie Strode idea, where it's like you're a woman who can't have sex because that's the reason why you're paying attention and are not dying. Whereas this one, first fucking night, like, also it doesn't only take place over one day like the first one. Like the first one's super rushed through. It's like, hey, they show up and then at night they're dead. Whereas in this one, it's over a couple days.
Yeah.
Also, the 5-year time jump.
It tends to actually work out well too, because the next two films take place the next 2 days,
which is funny.
Yeah,
which we'll get to that. There is a bit of a continuity error with that.
It is sort of. It's not technically an error. It just is like, really, that's pretty convenient, dude.
Well, no, it's because I can't remember who he says is his sister, but it was someone who would have died like
Sandra
a little while ago. And he
Sandra
says,
would have died 2
hunting.
days ago, and he says, I've been on the hunt for her.
But he says, I've been hunting Jason Voorhees for years.
He doesn't say years. He says, I've been hunting Jason. He doesn't give a time reference, like a time date is a thing.
I thought he said like I've been hunting him for like 4 years or something. It's just like you couldn't be. Your sister's been alive.
Yeah,
that's what I swear I thought that's what he said.
Yeah,
like that doesn't make any sense.
It's very convenient. He got the news so fast.
Yeah, quite fast.
Yeah,
but yeah, this takes place over several days, so like you get more time with these characters. It doesn't feel like you're rushing through to the kills.
So speaking of the kills, I watched the deleted scenes yesterday. And I have quite some things to talk about, because most of the deleted scenes are just extended kills. And most of them don't need to be there. Like, they're cut, and I think reasonably so, because they just elongate and they drag too long. There's one that I wish was in there, because it makes it better. There's another that I think is decently good, and I think could have been used, but the rest are just elongated. You mentioned how Scott gets his throat slit, and it's enough. In the original take of that, he fucking blood is pouring down, and it covers his face in red.
Ooh,
it's really good, and I wish that was in the cut. It looks, I mean, they only have it on VHS. They can't do it anymore. There's no audio, but holy fuck, did it look good.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie.
All the other ones are just like elongated death scenes where people just kind of go, oh, and they fall. Like the fucking cop falls down more, and that's it. Nothing to it. There's one where Vicky, when she gets stabbed, it holds longer with her falling. And the only thing I like about it is that it pans over to Jeff, who's like fucking hung up because he was murdered. And the actor looks so fucking dead. He does a great job selling that. So I like that, but it doesn't need to be in the movie, really.
See, that was actually, speaking of Jeff, the one that I was really curious about is because specifically Peter Braggy referenced how they cut that one out, because that one was specifically disturbing. And I haven't seen the deleted scene, so what was more for that one? Like, what did they cut out of that?
He's just, like, he's hanging, because they show him when you see him, he's just hanging by, like, the fucking bedsheet.
No, but for the bed, for the death on the bed.
So, you mentioned before how, like, oh, yeah, like, it's supposed to be a longer scene. The reason most of it is cut is because it's nudity of the girl.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
But she lied about her age. She was 16 when she filmed it.
Oh.
So that's the only extended scene that they don't put in the deleted scenes, because they don't want to put child pornography on.
Yeah, that makes sense. I had no idea. That's wild.
But they do have an elongated scene of when they get stabbed through the bed. I'm glad it's not in the movie. It looks bad.
Okay,
Like
cool.
the back looks fake. It looks really not that good.
Okay.
So it's actually a good thing they didn't do it. It looks fake on the VHS. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm sure
If
it
it
would look
looks fake on
worse.
the VHS, how bad
This
could it
one
look
worse.
now?
Yeah, that's wild. I had no idea about any of that. That's fucking crazy.
I looked it up and I was like, oh shit, that's makes a lot of sense.
Wow.
Also, what I looked up, do you know the date of this Friday the 13th in the movie? This takes
No.
place in 1984 because the first one takes place in 79.
Mm-hmm.
This is Friday the 13th, July 13th of 1984. I saw that, I was
It's your
like,
birthday.
that's pretty fucking cool.
It's your birthday.
That's my birthday. It's July 13th.
It's pretty sick.
So I saw that. I was like, it makes this movie a little bit more special in my heart.
Oh man, we're a month late.
So, who is your favorite character in the movie?
Mark. I mean, it probably have to be Mark. I really like
think
Paul.
Mark's the best character.
I like Amy Steele. I like Jenny a lot, but I feel like it's kind of hard not to pick Mark, just
My-
because he's so endearing.
My favorite is Jeff.
I like Jeff too.
Jeff is the most charismatic.
Chad.
He doesn't want to go to Camp Crystal Lake. He knows it's a bad idea, but
His
he goes 'cause
girlfriend
his
drags
girlfriend
him.
wants to go.
Yeah.
You know, he's the one you follow at the beginning of the film. He seems like he likes to have fun.
Him and what's his name? The fucking comedic relief character.
Ted.
He has the car toad.
Yeah.
That's funny.
When he's arm wrestling Mark, he's about to lose, so he takes his other arm and fucking cheats.
It reminds me of something that happened in real life at a party that we both went to.
Yeah, that shit was funny.
Yes.
But
So
I
That's
just
funny.
find Jeff to be such a
and,
fun.
and then he says best 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
And you see like Mark's like, okay, it's like you can just see Mark being like, oh fuck you, man, you cheated. 2 out
Yeah.
of 3. That's an automatic win for me. Fuck you.
Yeah, I just love that. I think Jeff's a funny character. I like
Yeah, I
him
like
a
Jeff.
lot in this movie.
I like Jeff. I think the actress who plays his girlfriend, she speaks awfully fast to me.
Yeah.
Like her responses seem awfully fast in a way that doesn't feel normal to me. I think she might be the worst performer in the movie, just because like she doesn't feel like she has.
pretty bad.
Cop's not great. But I still think that she like the way that her
Cadence.
cadence is wrong. Like everything about it just feels really not like she feels like the least real person in the movie
Yeah,
because
I
of the
agree.
way she talks. So
Except when she's talking to Jeff sometimes, like when it's just them. I think it's
the one in
pretty good.
particular, like the second time that she asks him to go to Camp Crystal Lake, like on the beach, I think it's the worst.
It is. I think it's the worst scene for
It's
her.
really bad. Because she's just not like the way it just doesn't feel like she's waiting for a response. It feels like she's like reading her lines off the card and getting through the scene as fast as possible. Maybe she had to go to school that day.
But yeah, right. But I just think that Jeff's my favorite. He has the most charisma. He's a lot of fun. The dynamics of all the other characters is pretty good. My least favorite characters, I don't know. I guess the fucking cop. I just don't like him.
He's barely a character though.
Yeah, he's not. But
Like,
I don't
I
dislike
wouldn't even
anybody.
think to pick him.
But I love the scene where he's trying to like, I caught these fucking kids up at Camp Crystal Lake. And it's like, all right, Jeff, Sandra, you can go. And Jeff apologizes, like, hey, he told us not to do. It's not his. And he's like, no, Jeff, I'll take care
I'll
of it.
deal with this.
Love that. I love that so much. That's such good small character work. He tells him to
Paul
leave.
has such ACAB energy in that scene.
It's like, you're not even going
He
to
has such
reprimand
ACAB
them. And he
energy in that
goes,
scene.
tell Jeff and Sandra no seconds for
Ginny?
dessert. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
shit, I like Paul a lot now, too.
Paul has straight ACAB energy in that.
Yeah.
He's just fucking like fuck the police, coming straight from the underground.
It's
He's
so
like,
funny,
nope,
man.
I'm done. That is really funny. It's really funny. And then later on, they do actually get reprimanded. So Paul is actually a good boss. So
Because
they can't
they have to
they
stay in the
can't
cabin.
go. Yeah, they would have lived.
Even the one thing I really like in it is
Well,
that,
I guess Jeff wouldn't have got his fuck on if he didn't.
true. Well, he would have. I mean, he still probably would have got his fuck on the next day when he's not dead.
True.
I also like when Ginny comes back and they're all dead. She's like, they wouldn't do this. Like, it's just all the small character work in this film makes everything work so well.
There's a lot of respect between
Yeah.
everybody. They're not all just a bunch of dumb kids
No.
who just like have no respect for Paul or something. Like
Yeah,
Yeah,
say
they went
he's
to-
like
they went
he's
to
like
camp-
wound up, but they still respect him.
yeah, they went to Camp Crystal Lake that one time. That's the only time they've ever defied him.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like they routinely. It's not like there's a character in the movie who's an asshole who just routinely disrespects the boss.
No.
It's like they are trying to be just kids having a good time, but they're still supposed to be good kids. So it's much more easy to watch them, and you can't hate anybody because of that.
No, I have a hard time disliking
Even
any of these characters.
Paul's character is an easy one to make a prick. Like
I
it's
think
easy
he
to
might be
make
my
him a
least
bad.
favorite as far as the fleshed out characters, but I still really like him.
I love watching Paul. Like I just like him, and especially with him and Ginny, I like them a lot. But
Yeah.
they don't. Like my point is like the leader of the camp counselors could easily be an asshole. A
Oh,
character who's
easily,
just like
easily.
just like an authoritative or
Well, look,
authoritative.
I
dick
fucking
and-
hate Christy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like it's easy to make that character the least interesting and least likable character. And even if he is the character, like it's not my favorite character, he's still very likable.
Yeah.
And especially because
It's
that scene
like
with the
saying
cop.
what's your least favorite Lord of the Rings film. It's like I love them
Yeah.
all, but
It's like especially with the scene with the cop, like it's just instant. Like if I didn't like him at that point, instant likability because
Oh,
he's just like
for
I'm
sure, for
protecting
sure.
my counselors. Fuck you for being a dick. Like I like that shit a lot. You want to talk about Jason more in depth? Just like the way that the way he looks, the way he acts, and all that stuff. Because there's two different actors who play Jason in this movie.
there's really one though.
There's really one, but there's supposed to
Steve
be
Dash
two.
plays Jason the entire fucking movie.
And there's that one guy who's like, I am Jason, but
He plays
barely.
him unmasked once.
Yes,
The rest of the scenes is Steve Dash, and everyone
because
can
he won't
argue
do his stunts.
the unmasked scene fucking isn't very good anyways.
It's the worst scene in the movie.
Yeah, like Steve Dash got his fucking finger nearly cut off entirely
Yeah,
because he was Jason. Like that man is Jason.
and he does a great job.
He does do a great job.
My favorite part is like this
It
is the
is
most
kinda
human
slapsticky
Jason
sometimes, which
in
I
the
love.
series, probably. For me, it's like because this is the most human I think Jason is in the entire series, just because he does get afraid. Like when she whips out the chainsaw,
I love that
he's
scene.
fucking backing up. He's like, no, please stop, and it hits his
Yeah.
hand and all stuff. Like he's actually afraid, and he also falls down a lot too.
Yeah,
He gets
I love when he's gonna get Ginny and the fucking chair breaks like, God damn it! The fucking chair breaks. He fucking falls over.
Yeah, I like that a lot. It's just like he feels a bit more human. This is before he doesn't actually become inhuman until 6, but in 3, 4, like he's more, like the omnipresent, like I'm here and I'm gonna whoop your ass guy. Whereas in 2, he seems more like a human being. He's
So I'm
fallible.
gonna ask you this question. This is gonna be for your head canon because there's no answer. They're never gonna answer it. How do you see the events taking place from 1 to 2 and Jason being alive? What do you consider happens?
I think he's been alive. Like he's just been alive.
Like he didn't drown or like he came
because
back
you-
after he drowned?
Yeah, because like think about it. He drowned in the 50s. By the 80s, he'd be an adult.
Yeah.
I just think he never died.
Okay.
I
That's the
think
way you
Pam's
look
just-
at it?
Yeah, I think Pam's just crazy. I think he's been alive the whole time, but he's been out in the woods and he's mentally he's a slow person. He's special. He needs help, but he doesn't get it because he's out in the middle of the woods.
You think Pam would never find him after all those years though?
I think she didn't.
That's one way to look at it. I look at it with more of like, it's not real. I look at it like, when she dies, like, he became like a spirit that came back from the dead. And like, when he comes out of the lake, like, that's his body that was there. And like, he'd be a fucking skeleton, right? He would have decomposed fully.
Yes.
So, I'd like to think like his body was building back around that skeleton. As soon as she dies, he's starting to like become more human again. He's like a fucking entity of death or whatever.
Yeah.
So after that, he's like, I tipped her over. Oh, fuck cops, and he fucking scurries out.
Yeah. I would say if he came back as the Jason that he feels like he is in 3 or 4, I would say yeah, because he seems more like a force of nature in 3 and 4, whereas in 2 he feels like a human being.
But this is why
For
I
me.
say this. He comes back as just like a fucking entity to kill people that are in his way. This is his location. No kid should come back. He came back and it's been about 4 years. He still has the brain of a child. His brain isn't more developed. And this is why he is still afraid of the chainsaw. The only thing is like when his body came back, it's now adjusting to be the size it should have been if he was an adult at this time.
Yeah.
So that's why he's a fucking full-grown hillbilly or whatever. I don't care. Fuck that shit. But that's why he's that. Still has a child's brain. And that's why he acts like this. And as the ones go on later and later, every time he fucking gets more fucking beat up or gets his ass kicked, he just slowly devolves more and more and becomes less of a person and more like a fucking force of nature.
Yeah, see, I think that the whole conversation that Jenny has about him watching his mother be beheaded and all that stuff, I think that there's more truth to that
I
as like
think that's what
a
the film
human
wants
being.
it to be.
Yeah, I think it's more. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think it
And
does too.
I think that as he kills people, he becomes less human.
I just like the way I think about it because it makes things fall in line easiest in the timeline and makes things work the best.
Yeah, I still think like between, I mean, like they don't specify ages or anything, but if you think about between 58 or whenever he died and 80 or 79, he is going to be pretty much an adult. Or no, he'll
Yeah.
be an adult,
Be about
especially
like
by
20,
especially
maybe
by the
like
time we get
30
to two.
nearly.
Yeah, especially by the time we get to two, because it's 5 more years after that. It is kind of cool to think about him as a more of a a non corporeal person, or more of a not human killer. But I think that the logic the movie sets up works really well, and I think that it makes more sense because it's like he's a human being. That's why he's afraid of the chainsaw. I mean, like if the person whipped out a knife, that's not nearly as fucking scary as someone coming at you with a
No.
chainsaw. So, yeah, like I mean, I'd be fucking scared of a goddamn chainsaw too.
Yeah.
Like it's like comparing him to like to Michael Myers. Like Michael Myers, in my mind, isn't human. So like if you whipped out a chainsaw at Michael Myers, he probably wouldn't even care. Whereas I think Jason, I like the fact that this movie plays him a bit more human. I think it makes things, it evens out the playing field and makes it feel like the humans have more of a chance.
I can understand that. I like the fact that he is human. I just like to think of the fact that like after she dies, it is like a revenge thing. It's almost like he's like the crow.
Yeah, I definitely, it's obvious there's obviously a revenge aspect to it no matter what way we look at it, but I do like the concept of him being a spirit because it makes it more spooky, but I don't necessarily subscribe to that, although I can see why you would.
I think you're right with the film wants you to believe the way that Ginny tells the story. Why else would she say that story in context of the movie? It's
Yeah,
just,
although
I
for her,
feel
she
like
doesn't-
as the films go on, that tends to seem less and less valid.
Although it seems like to her, like when she's discussing it, she's saying like in 1979 or 80 or whatever, he's a child watching this. I mean, like, yeah, I'm sure what she means by he has the mental faculties of a child, but it's just like he's like, yeah, it's a child watching your parent die. It's like I don't think he aged 25 years in 5 years,
Yeah.
so he's definitely watching it as an adult. But yeah, I like all that. Actually, one of the things I totally forgot about while we were talking about Jason is the inspirations for this movie that are very clear to me, at least,
Yeah.
because looking at Jason in this movie with the sack head, it reminds me a lot of The Town That Dreaded Sundown.
It's exactly from that.
Yeah,
The costume
so-
designer designed it based on that.
Yeah, the only thing is, I don't think, if I remember correctly, The Town That Dreaded Sundown, he doesn't have like the overalls and stuff, but the mask.
Also, he
itself,
has two eyes for the.
Yeah. And I love The Town That Dread Sundown. It's a great fucking movie. But that's definitely a very clear inspiration for the look of Jason. The other one that I always think about is the bed kill with the spear is ripped right out of Bay of Blood. So that's another really clear inspiration in the movie. So clearly, obviously, these people like the genre,
Yeah.
and they're well read on their stuff.
Well, Steve Miner knows what he's doing for horror, 100%.
Yeah. I think he's great.
He didn't get his fucking due when it came to directing these films. I think 3 is not nearly as good, but 3 was always meant to be a gimmick film in the first place.
Yeah, they wanted it to be like he didn't have like he wasn't making a film. He was making a product
Yeah, 100%.
at that point. He was making like this is good. Like they're all products, but like he was making a movie that was specifically designed around a gimmick that was having a resurgence. He wasn't creating a movie from scratch. He was like Frank Mancuso Jr. Everyone's saying like, "Hey, 3D is pretty cool right now. Let's do a 3D movie."
Yeah.
And it's like now you have to design an entire movie around 3D effects that they already know they want to do.
And he tries his best to make characters with everybody in the cast he gets. Even
It's still
in 3.
entertaining.
Like,
It's
even
still
in 3,
entertaining.
if you don't like some of the characters, he still tries his best with some of them.
Yeah, like what's his face? I really don't like.
Shelley.
Shelley. I don't like Shelley, but
Yeah, but he tries to
we'll get
make him a
that.
character. You know, he tries his best.
Yeah, he has his development, and you understand where he comes from. But he is annoying. But we'll get to him in the next episode. But yeah, I think that he does a really good job.
Yeah, I think
With
he really knows how to direct well.
much better than Cunningham.
Oh yeah.
This movie looks better. It flows much better. The sequences of like the kill sequences and the suspense sequences are much stronger. I feel a lot more of a sense of tension. Even like like the jump scare at the end is not as good as the one in the first one, but it still works. It got me to jump. I mean, I have a surround sound system that I had jacked up with a 5.1, so it got me. But
another theoretical question: do you think that jump scare at the end is real or a dream sequence?
so they actually filmed an answer to that, which they didn't release. The original filming for the end of, I mean, like I'm sure you know this, but the head at the end is supposed to wink and smile. Now, what I didn't know when I heard that, because I'd known that for a long time, but apparently that wink and smile was supposed to signify that Paul's dead. So Paul doesn't live in that version.
It's changed though. There's no
or smile.
She was supposed to open her eyes and smile, and
yeah,
he hated the effect. He's like, "It looks so fucking cheesy."
Yeah, but apparently that was originally supposed to signify that all that happened and that Jason killed Paul.
Yeah.
In that scene. So it originally was supposed to have happened, but I would say now it's a dream sequence.
Do you think it's a dream sequence?
When you cut that knowing that basically tells you what happens.
So
I would say it's now a dream sequence. I believe it was originally not supposed to be one.
So this is the way Steve Miner describes it. He says it's not a dream sequence, even though Muffin's fucking alive for some reason.
Yeah.
That's the biggest problem, is that they show Muffin's corpse in the movie.
Yes.
And then she comes back and she runs up. Okay, well if she's alive, it has to be a dream sequence. Steve Miner considers it canon. He says, "Oh, it's really happened. It's not a dream sequence." So maybe there's just two fucking shih tzus that look like that.
But like how? No.
You'd have to assume that he killed some other random dog.
Real.
Also, Paul does live.
But you have to explain that though. Like
Paul lives because they give the body count in the third movie, and they say 8 people died. And if it was Paul,
that's what I mean by that. It has to be a dream sequence at that point, because that when they say he died during that dream sequence.
They didn't say Paul dies in that though.
No, I'm saying that the people in the special feature were saying that results in his death.
Yeah.
So they're saying he would have died in that. If the body count shows he didn't die, then it's a dream sequence automatically.
I consider it a dream sequence because then it makes things less convoluted and Jason doesn't look like some hillbilly inbred fuck.
Yeah, I agree.
I just don't.
I mean, he already is wearing the hillbilly outfit, but he's already wearing the hillbilly outfit. But as long as the mask doesn't come out, you don't have to see what he looks like underneath.
Yeah, but I just
also
assume he stole that clothes off of some
face.
random fucking dude. Like,
yeah, I'm sure. I just think it's better that we don't see his face in reality, because later on when we actually see his face, it's way better.
Oh yeah, in both 3 and 4, his face looks way better.
Yes. So,
but
I really fucking love this movie. I have a blast with it every time I watch it.
This is probably the
Friday
time.
I think this is the Friday movie I've seen the most. So I remember when I used to be writing for a website, I started a Friday the 13th marathon to do that, and I kept on rewatching too, because I would always start writing the review and then I would stop and I wanted to refresh myself. So I've watched it multiple times, semi-recently, including this time, having a blast every time.
I've seen 2 a lot. I've seen 4 a lot. I've seen 6 and 7 a lot. All those 4 films that we decided we're gonna do, I've seen them all an equal amount of times. I couldn't tell you which one I've seen the most, but I've watched these. I mean, these 4 on rotation a lot.
Or I'd always seen the first 1 and 2 on Netflix, and 3. It wasn't until you had me over and we had like a sleepover and you threw on 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, and 6 for me, back to back, that I actually saw more of them. And I didn't see 7 until
recently.
Semi-recently.
Yeah.
and then 8 also last year, and then 9, and then now I've seen them all. I saw Jason X on TNT as a child, so I've seen it a long time ago. But yeah, this is I've definitely seen 2 the most, but it's not my favorite. There's not a lot
It's
to
not my
complain about though.
favorite.
When you look at it from the context of the genre, there's not really a lot to complain about in this movie, honestly. I
No,
guess you could complain. A lot of people could complain, oh, I wish the kills were a bit more graphic. You could see more going on and all that stuff. But that's about it for the
I
most
can
part.
only complain that the biggest problem that this film has is that it has to mimic the first film sometimes.
Yeah.
The dream sequence ending, I don't like. I think it's stupid. Sometimes I don't hate it, but like I just feel like it's more convoluted and it's so much more tacked on than the first one.
I can't remember. Does 3 have one? I thought 3 did. I don't know why I thought 3 did. I thought the first 3 had dream sequences, and then 4
There's dream
ended
sequences
without
in
one.
the movie, but I don't think there's a dream sequence ending.
Okay.
I hate the slow motion final chop that they did in the first one. They do it again with Jenny in this one.
Yep.
A lot of the techniques they do are very much similar
The
to the
effect
first one.
the effect looks a lot better though because it's through his shoulder.
Yeah, it does look a lot better.
But that's
I
about it.
just don't like the fact that the biggest problem is that this is a sequel in itself.
It's still stuck in the ways of the first movie because they assumed, well, there's a reason why the first one made so much money,
Yes.
so we should do that again. And then with 3, despite the fact, hey, I can complain about some of the stuff in 3, but they did something a little bit different. Even if it was the fact that they had to force a gimmick in it, it felt like a different film.
Yeah.
And 4 is when they finally decided to start kind of doing their own thing, which ironically was called the final chapter.
Yeah, I was gonna say literally, it's very ironic that it does
Yeah.
that.
So, yeah, I love this goddamn movie. As a fan of this subgenre, and I love slashers, man. They're the ultimate not guilty, but the ultimate comfort food kind of horror film for me. Just like you could throw a 90-minute slasher on, have a blast. 2 is one of the best ones for that.
Yeah.
Love.
Our score is gonna differ actually. on
Yep.
this. I think I'm gonna have it higher than you are.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the Friday films are more personal to me, and I love them in a very special way. When I think about Halloween, these are the ones I would think about immediately. I rewatched these 4 movies super frequently. Like
Yeah, you
it's,
see
it's
the way-
like
the way
once a
you-
year, once every 2 years, and like I've seen at least 6 fucking 10 times. You know?
The way that you are with these is the way I am with the Halloween movies.
Yeah. Like,
So-
and I only feel like that towards Halloween 1, 4. That's it. Like, but for Friday, I've watched all of them so much. Even the ones that I fucking don't like. Like, I've seen them all so much.
Yeah.
Like, if you said, I'll tell you Nightmare on Elm Street's better, but I'll like Friday Part 2 more than the first Nightmare. You tell me
Yeah, Nightmare-
Halloween's better. Because I'm not dumb. It is better. I will still probably play Friday Part 2 over Halloween.
Yeah, I mean that's the difference between
Objectivity
saying
and
what's
bias.
better and what's favorite.
Yeah.
It's 2 different things.
I wish people would understand that you can love something so much and realize it's not a better thing. Like
Yeah.
craftsmanship, love.
Although I'll always
Effort.
listen to arguments over why you think
Yeah.
something's better. So
Yeah,
It can
I
always
just feel
be
like a
argued.
film reflects so well on its craftsmanship and its technique and the ideas put into it. It's like I'd have a tough time telling you 2 is a better movie than Halloween. I'd have a
Yeah.
real tough time.
hey, I mean like Nightmare on Elm Street is my favorite horror movie ever made, and I would have a hard time saying that that's better than Halloween,
Yeah,
or saying it's better than like Psycho or something. Like
yeah.
even though I think it's a masterpiece. Like
Yeah, I think
Sometimes
that
things
there's
are
a ton of horror films. Friday the 13th Part 2 is not in the top 100 best horror films ever made.
no,
Definitely in my top horror films ever made, though.
top favorite, yes, for sure.
I don't
100%.
think it's in my top 10, though. I don't think it's
No, it's not
close,
my top 10.
But it's still one of my favorites.
I don't even know if the final chapter's in my top 10 or top favorites.
I couldn't tell you what my top 10 favorite horror
Oh.
movies are because I have a tough time separating them from the decades.
Actually, I can guarantee you it's not because I know what my top 10 are.
Couldn't tell you. I have a really tough time
So,
mixing classic 30s horror with like 80s and like picking which one I like better because they're so drastically different. So like this week I could be like,
Yeah.
all the 30s horror just hits different, and then next week I'll be like, yeah, but this shit's way more fun. It's too much of a toss up.
The 80s. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think I gave this 4 stars on Letterboxd, so that's an 8. That could go up, honestly, though. It could be 8, 8.5. Because I can't give it 4.5 because that's almost 9.
Yeah, I mean you
Um,
couldn't, but I could because I'm giving it four
yeah.
and a half.
Yeah, so I don't know if I can give it a 4.5. I could, who knows? I could sit with it for longer and be like, yeah, because I haven't seen this in a bit. Like, yeah, semi recently I've watched it several times, but I still like, this is still massively entertaining. Like throwing this on, it is an easy movie to watch, man. It's
Yeah.
so easy to watch. The characters are so much fun. It looks a lot better than the first one.
Well, you
Also,
said it best when you texted me like last night or like in the middle of the day saying this film just feels easier to watch. It's
yeah, the first
only
one,
8 minutes shorter, and it feels like by the time I'm like, how long is this? Oh, it's ending right now. It's already
yeah,
done.
it's like if it should feel more rushed, but
Yeah.
it doesn't because they use their time a lot smarter.
Perfectly paced.
It feels like they actually had a script to justify its runtime. Whereas it seems like they kind of wrote like a page or two for Friday the 13th Part 1, and it's just like, we got to figure out somehow to get this to 90 minutes, so we're going to just do some random
Perfectly
shit.
paced. They did a great job.
This very well paced movie. Yeah, no, I fucking love this movie. Yeah, again, yeah, I might have to raise my score to 4.5, honestly, because it's just like the more we talk about it, the more I'm like, yeah, this is just dope. As far as slasher movies are concerned, this is just excellent.
I think I don't know how long it's been, but it feels like we haven't talked about it that much. It feels like this would be like a relatively short episode.
Yeah,
But
it's
it's just like I have nothing else I can say besides saying like this
Watch it.
is a genuinely fun time. These characters are really endearing. They have a lot of good back and forth between each other. You can sit down, be like, you know what, I really like that guy, and then when he dies, you're like, that fucking sucks. You watch
Yeah.
the final chase with Jason and Jenny, and that's really fucking good. Everything going on is so linked together, and it's tight. So even if it is just another fucking sequel to a slasher franchise just trying to make some fucking money, there's definitely heart put into this one, and it's definitely a good, easy flowing time to get through.
Yeah. Also, kind of a fun fact to talk about that this is actually filmed in our home state.
Yeah,
I don't know what the whole thing is, but I know that the actual
camp.
camp is in Kent.
It's in Kent. It's in
Kent,
Connecticut.
and actually Alice's house is in Waterbury.
Alice's?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's in Waterbury.
I don't know if all the actors are, but Paul was actually. Is it no? Not Paul. The guy who plays Ted is from Hartford.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's from Connecticut.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool to see stuff filmed in Connecticut. I didn't know until semi recently that actually it's cost effective to film in Connecticut.
Yeah.
I didn't know that like currently, like I guess we have like tax breaks or something for people. I had no idea at all. I actually honestly assumed it would be the opposite at this point. So that's pretty cool.
A lot of the people that worked on the Friday films are Connecticut locals too. Like
Sean
Steve
Cunningham's from
Miner
Connecticut.
still lives in Connecticut, as far as I know.
Yeah, Cunningham is from and lives in Connecticut still.
Yeah.
I can't remember where in Connecticut, but he lives here. His like Cunningham Studios or whatever. His ranch is here. So pretty cool. It's cool. It's always cool to see, our home state.
It makes it feel so much more personable. Like
Yeah.
that's why I love the franchise so much. Like
My uncle told me that he actually went and visited the site of the camp and the restaurant that they film at, the bar, which is burnt down now. I
yeah,
think.
it's burnt down.
Um,
The camp,
so-
like the big like Packanack is burned down as well.
yes, and the cabins themselves are a lot more torn down.
Some were sold,
Yeah,
but there are still some cabins that still exist there.
yeah. So
I have a buddy of mine that went there and put up like the invisible fencing,
that's pretty cool.
and he mentioned that it's like, yeah, I did this whenever it's fucking freezing in the lake.
I bet.
Like, oh, at least you went, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, that's something I'll never get to do.
Yeah, I'm
'Cause
gonna I'm gonna break in.
No, like I mean that like I'll never be able to actually go to Packanack. Like
Yeah,
the building's gone. Can't go to it.
Private property now. The people just own it and they're not using it for anything.
That's fucked up.
It would be cool if they recreated it or something, but
It would be cool to make it like a tourist place.
it would be. I think
I
you
know
could
that
make some money off of
I
it.
was a nice chunk of horror fans would come to visit it. I don't think enough to offset the cost though.
I don't know. I would
Not-
disagree
not
because we're
rapidly, I'll
close
say that
enough.
much.
Kent specifically is close enough to New York to get a lot of New York locals to come visit.
True.
So they could make money off of it. I just don't think they want to.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna do it. Sucks.
But it's
Can't re-
another
can't-
piece of horror history for Connecticut, which makes me very endeared to the fact.
I can't even go and visit the primary place for part 4 really because it's a house.
Yeah, it's just a regular house.
It's someone's house. I can't just go walk over there. Oh my god, look, it's from Friday Part 4. I really like this place. Be like, hey, this is my house. I'm trying to eat my breakfast.
It's like, hey, can I take a photo? I've already called the police.
Essentially. So I wonder if we could go visit the barn and stuff for Part 3 though.
Some of that was set they built,
Oh,
but I don't know if the barn. I don't think the barn was.
I remember
But the
watched
barn, I think, burnt down.
Oh fucking Christ! God damn it! What is it with these places in fire? They
You
must
don't
be
understand
cursed.
arsonists, man. They'll do anything.
They just must be cursed, bro. Like,
I
Jason
don't know if
Voorhees
it's true or
himself.
not, if that's 100% fact, but I believe the barn burned down.
yeah, I remember them talking about it on the Camp Crystal Lake Memories
Yeah.
documentary. Which, by the way, if you guys like Friday the 13th and haven't seen that documentary, it is amazing. It is exhaustive.
I would love to go on a location tour for like the East Coast for horror. I think it's not too much to ask for too.
There's a decent chunk of stuff horror related for New England.
Yeah.
You can go visit the Real Dairy and all that stuff for
Yeah.
it and
Well, if you want to go to Maine, they have a whole like tour listing where you could like go
For
on the
Stephen
Stephen
King.
King tour and everything.
in order to go to the what was used for The Shining, you have to go to like Colorado or something.
Yeah, I'm not going to fucking Colorado.
Yeah, I would love to go and see the Overlook Hotel, but I'm not taking that hike. Sorry. But yeah, in Connecticut, there's a bunch of them. Hey, like I was talking about, I think I talked about it with you, but the old like it's an independent movie, House of the Devil.
Mm-hmm.
They filmed part of that, like one of the scenes, the pizza scene is in Winsted.
Yeah.
It's at ABC Pizza in Winston, I believe. And one of the scenes, the one that has Dee Wallace in it, as a realtor is in Torrington, Connecticut.
I think that shit's so funny. I've eaten so many times at that fucking ABC Pizza when I was in college.
Yeah, it's just like had no idea they filmed the movie here. And like even like the same director, The Innkeepers in Torrington. It's the Innkeep Peddler Inn in Torrington.
Yeah.
So like
I think that place is shut down right now.
probably, but it's amazing. It shuts down all the time.
Yeah, it does.
But it's amazing how many places I've been to that have been the source of horror movies that I didn't know were sources of horror movies.
There's a
pretty
super
cool.
famous one where people talk about now for everyone in Connecticut about Beetlejuice.
Yeah, that's right.
Because the truck says Torrington, Connecticut on it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's kind of amazing.
It's neat.
I mean, we're also like the oldest part of the country as far as
yeah.
the actual country.
Yeah.
So like,
100%.
of course, there's gonna be a lot of creepy shit that's happened here. You know, like get Amityville Horror.
Well, I mean, you and I, well, not you haven't recently, and I'm going to recently, but I go to Salem all the time. You know,
Yeah,
Salem is not the actual area where the witch trials was. It's a new Salem location, like where Salem the witch trials was actually in Danvers.
yeah.
But you know, God, like
There's spooky shit
I
everywhere.
used to go to Salem for Halloween with my girlfriend. We go visit. And at the same time, we'd also go to like Sleepy Hollow. I've been there a few times on the Sleepy Hollow Trail. That's
Never
pretty
been
cool.
to Sleepy
That
Hollow.
that's so disappointing though because they took down the bridge.
Oh,
And
yeah.
like I would have loved to have been on that bridge.
There's one in Connecticut. It's not like they did like a horror movie or something here, but it's a source of spooky shit. Is Dudleytown?
Oh fuck that place.
You can't go to Dudleytown.
Yeah.
You can't go there. It's off limits. The cops will pick you up. People do it every year though.
There's a lot of horror history in Connecticut, which is pretty cool. A lot of horror history in New England, obviously. I'd love to go try to put down all the locations down and go visit them the best I could. I think I'm gonna
Yeah,
plan that out.
especially now that like COVID's winding down and all that stuff.
Connecticut,
Well,
it's like fucking
for now.
non-existent.
for now.
Yeah.
But as it seems that like now that things are opening back up again, it feels like you could go tour places a lot more
Yeah.
efficiently now too. So it would be nice to go do something like that sometime,
Yeah.
especially like in October or something.
But regardless of Connecticut horror and all that, I just love the fact that Friday the 13th Part 2 is linked to it.
Yeah, we can say that we have a horror, like a high-profile horror film filmed in Connecticut, because like the two I listed are
Yeah.
independent movies.
And I
But
just
it
love
is-
the fact that it's my favorite franchise too. So
Yeah, it's really cool.
really cool, really happy. I really have got nothing else I can say about this movie besides it's fucking good and check it out.
Yeah, this movie rocks. I love it so much.
So
I'm excited that we're doing this because
I am too. It's
we've
gonna
been
be
talking
nice.
about this.
It'll be good to see how this works out too, and we'll hopefully jump into other series.
We've been talking about doing this for months, so
Yeah. This
It's
was
been-
planned nearly as soon as we planned the podcast.
yeah, we wanted to do this very quickly. So
But
I'm
yeah.
excited to do the rest of these.
I hope you guys are excited too. That covers Friday the 13th Part 2, both of one of our favorites. Hopefully you watch it, you like it, check it out, have a good time. So for the next video we're going to do a small shorter video for Part 3 and then a full-length video for Part 4. Check
My
both those out and we'll see you then. Catch you later. Bye-bye.